Guys, welcome back to the channel. We are up to Platinum 5. In the 5 grades, we've mostly been talking about how to counter your opponent. But throughout Platinum, we've really been focusing on one theme, which is kind of being aware of the match. So focusing a bit less on what you're doing and a bit more on what your opponent's doing. And now I want to add a layer to that, which is being aware of drive meter, super meter, and your opponent's health. Now, this is really difficult, honestly, and I think it's a really big part of Street Fighter 6 more than other iterations of Street Fighter, because you have so many kind of extra combo routes because of Drive Rush and the fact that you have both Drive Rush and Super Meter. Whereas in Street Fighter 5, they were the same bar, and so you could either do OD moves or do supers. Whereas here, it's really, you can mix and match both, and there's just a lot that can happen with different amounts of super meter and different amounts of drive gauge. So it's hard to be aware of this kind of situation, and it's hard to optimize in this kind of situation. And one thing that I really noticed with the pros is that they are amazingly good at optimizing in these kind of situations. So let's have a quick look at one combo just to look at the difference in damage. I want to show you this situation. Right, 3,340 from that. And what if I finished with a level 1 super? $3,760. So that's only 300 damage difference. That's this much. Look at the health bar. Right? Not a lot. And if you were in just a kind of regular situation where a guy's still got 70% of his health or whatever, I wouldn't dump a super bar in to get an extra 300 damage. That seems kind of like a waste of resources when I could wake up with it and hit him for 2,000. But if it wins you the round, that extra 300 damage is hugely important. And one of the things that you'll notice with the pros is that they always know when swapping from finishing with a Dragon Punch Ender or whatever it might be to swapping to a Super Ender gets them the win. They always do it. And I think that's really impressive. Another similar thing is that when this game first started coming out and people were playing the beta, one thing that they noticed from the computer, the AI, is that the AI was really good at knowing when it was about to win, and would just dump all its meter in that sort of situation. So that's what I want to talk about a bit in this video, is learning when you can check this kind of information, because usually you're paying too much attention to heaps of stuff. Sometimes you both get to the neutral like this, where you're really quite far away from each other. The round is kind of near the end, and it's worth trying to get in the habit of doing a really quick stock take. So you look at your opponent's health, you look at your drive meter, you look at your super meter, and you think, in what way can I get this guy dead from here? Like, what situation do I need? Do I need a full solar plexus combo to get this guy dead? That would have killed him. Or will I be able to kill him off something simpler like this combo? Right. Can I just get a light punish into a sequence and that's going to be enough to kill him? Can I just get something like this and kill him? And if you notice that, like, usually your default sequence off crouching, medium kick, drive rush, cancel is just one drive rush. But in this situation, if I did the double drive rush, that would be enough to kill him. Then you really want to make sure that here you double drive rush. And I think that's probably the main one that comes up for me personally, is that I'm really stingy with my drive gauge, I think. I generally really don't like to go into burnout with Ryu. Generally don't think going into burnout is a good idea in Street Fighter 6 at all, even when you're on the offense, because if someone wakes up drive reversal, usually drive reversal is -6 on block, but when you're in burnout, they can basically drive reversal without risk, because even if you block it, you're only going to be at +2. And so you can't punish them, and you'll be kind of further away like this, so you also can't throw them. So it really kind of helps them wake up in a pretty safe way and battle themselves out of the corner. They can also drive impact much more easily. So your usual pressure strings, like this sort of thing, don't work nearly as well, because your opponent knows that you don't have a drive impact anywhere in your arsenal. So you can't cancel this heavy punch into a drive impact, for example. But again, if you think you're going to be able to kill your opponent by doing the second drive rush cancel, then you should. And there are a lot of situations for me, as I got into high diamond, where I realized that I wasn't watching replays. I was like, oh, I could have killed him there if I'd dumped more meter into that situation. But often my combos were so kind of drilled into my muscle memory that I had a hard time just kind of staying above the fray a little bit, enough to recognize that, oh, in this situation, actually, if I use level 2, which I pretty much never use except in the combo that we've talked about, this one, then I can actually kill this guy. So there would be situations where I could do something like, yeah, and my opponent would be dead, but I just wouldn't recognize that the level 2 in that situation would kill, and then I need to do an OD Hashogeki so that I can cancel into the level 2, for example. So what I want to suggest to you in this video is just to create for yourself some circumstances that will come up in the match where you have enough time to check what's going on. So I just talked about one where you reset the neutral here and you can quickly check what's going on. The other opportunities are when you get a drive impact cancel. So this situation here, you get like 2 seconds to have a look at what's happening, especially if you know that you're going to be following up with this combo. That gives you even more time to have a look at the resource situation. So here I know I've got 4.5 bar, so I can do 2 drive rush cancels, no problem. Or I could do a drive rush cancel and then an OD if I wanted to get level 2 out, and I see that I've got 3 bars. So then maybe if I'm looking at my opponent's health bar here, I think, okay, he's definitely dead. Right, and I might not have gone into that second drive rush cancel if I didn't realize he was close to death, because usually I would just want to do this one, and that would be more than enough. That in that situation, that's enough to kill him, but in other situations that won't be enough to kill him, and I'm just doing that because I've gotten him all the way to the corner already for my heavy donkey light dragon punch combo. Why would I bother spending the extra bar? But here I've got to spend the extra bar to get the extra damage. The other situation where I think you've got a reasonable amount of time to check stuff is just when you get the solar plexus. So here in close, solar plexus, you're pretty much always following it up with crouch medium punch, right? And that sequence takes, what, like a second to get done? And so you've got enough time to check, to like glance out of the corner of your eye real quickly at your drive gauge situation and realize that you can do something like that. Right, now in that situation, if I'd gone into the second drive rush cancel, I might have actually gotten more damage. The reason why I showed you the OD Tatsu is because that's another one where sometimes the OD Tatsu takes a long time, so you can actually see what your situation is, and for example, whether you want to go to level 1 super or do the DP. Boom, 2250 versus, even off the lights, 1950. So that extra 300 damage might be all you need to get the W. So these are the circumstances that I've kind of identified. Drive impact punish, of course, when they do wake up OD uppercut. That's another situation where you've got quite a lot of time to have a glance at everything, because you get their uppercut animation, the punish counter animation, and you know that you're going to do boom, boom every time. So that's on autopilot, and while you're autopiloting that with your fingers, you can have a look at what's happening to the resources and maybe try to make a little calculation about what your optimal damage combo is in this kind of situation. And usually it's just going to be 2 drive rush cancels, and sometimes you're going to want to put a level 1 super in instead of a DP. You're going to want to put this into your arsenal instead of, right? In that situation, the DP wouldn't have killed. Right? He's still got a bit of health left there, whereas, oosh, I stuffed up the combo. There, he's definitely dead, right? The reason why it doesn't kill is because I've got his bar set to refill, because I hate it when it gives you the knockout animation and you have to wait like 10 seconds. Anyway, so that's what I want you to do there. And then to practice this situation, like start the match off in the neutral stage here, put a recording on in which Guile's just moving around. Yeah, do a few. Right, but that's all you need. And then play around with the parameter settings. So have a situation in which you only have 2 drive gauge and you've only got 2 super meter. And now close and save. And then have Guile walking around. Oh, I've got to put him on repeat. Alright, and now, what's my sitch? So I'm burnt out, but could I get him if I hit him with the level 1 super? No, that's not enough. So that's not going to get me the kill here. So maybe in this situation I actually want to do... Boom! Ooh, I don't know if that would have killed, I don't think so. But so that's the kind of thing to play around with, and that's how you're going to get awareness that in this situation, but there, if I get a little bit of drive gauge back, then I can actually, let's have him move around. So then if I realize that with a little bit of drive gauge, I could do him with that combo. Now he's dead. So then I just got to realize that in this situation, I just need to wait around a tiny bit till I've got my drive gauge back. And then we'll have him dead to rights. And then maybe we could have also just gone with 2 drive rush cancels. Maybe we could just finish with a level 1 and he'd be dead. Oh, why am I so bad at getting level 1 supers out? Oh, I didn't wait there. Dun, 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 dun. What is going on? Why can't I get that super out? There we go. Ooh, yeah, I think he's dead there. No, he's not. I did 2,900 and he's on 30%, so he's got 3,000 health. All right, so that's something to just kind of play around with, and I think it'll really get you a lot of wins that you wouldn't otherwise have gotten, where you realize that, oh, actually, I just need to drive rush cancel twice here, and I'll have this guy dead. You'll get more wins. Seriously, I reckon I got, I don't know, 5% wins that I wasn't getting previously, and that's like quite a meaningful increase. Don't just have one parameter setting, like play around with it so that, you know, Guile's at, I don't know, what do we put him on? We'll put him on 50% health. We'll give ourselves 5 drive gauge, and we've got our 2 levels of super. How would we kill him in this situation? Like maybe I need to jump in this situation. Right, that doesn't really look like that would work to kill him, but maybe if I have, yeah, level 3 super would kill in that situation. So then I know here that I need a jump in. And so getting a jump in on Guile is not too hard, because that's kind of the essence of the game. But if that's my only way in, then when I get a different kind of hit, when I get a crouch medium kick, for example, I'm not going to try to kill it off that button because I don't think it's going to work, right? I'm going to just try to get corner carry, get myself a better position on the screen. Oosh. But the other thing I know is that maybe in this situation, if I can block a flash kick, then I'll have him dead to right. So then maybe I'm going to do a cross up, because I know that sometimes the cross up jumps over the flash kick and then you get a free jumping combo. So I don't know, it's always useful to be aware of how you could kill your opponent from this situation. That's maybe more advanced than what I'm talking about. All I'm talking about is that when you get this situation, be able to quickly check how much bar you've got so that you can think about what kind of kill would work here. Boom, he's dead. Oh, that was nice. All right. Now, I'm going to introduce one new combo for you, which I think will also help you to practice this skill. And then also is just like a really cool, powerful combo to have in your arsenal. Let's talk about the micro walk combo, which looks a little bit like this. Well, let's have a look. It does 6,071 damage. Totally nuts. Now, what you might have noticed there is that our drive rush cancelled 3 times. So usually we can only drive rush cancel twice. Let's have a look at that standard situation. All right, and then I'm burnt out. And that's true even if I do the heavy kick version. I'm burnt out. All right. The reason why you can do 3 drive rush cancels in the micro walk combo is because of the micro walk. When you drive rush in and do the heavy kick, you are plus 13. The next button we press is crouch medium punch, which is only a 6-frame button. In that 7 frames difference between those 2 moves, we walk forward a tiny bit. We walk forward for 7 frames. And what that does is it builds back a tiny sliver of drive gauge, like a pixel. Anytime you're walking forward in this game, you're building drive gauge, which is why it's quite important to be walking like this, especially in burnout. All right? There's many reasons to be walking like this, but in burnout, building up drive gauge is one of the most important. In this situation, when we walk forward and we build that slither of drive gauge, when we next drive rush cancel, we take off exactly 3 bars, and that leaves us with that slither. And whenever you have a slither, you can then execute any drive rush move or any gauge move. You could do an OD Tatsu if you wanted to, but getting the drive rush usually does more damage. So that's how we get this 3 drive rush cancel move. And sometimes you do want to do the full meter dump and go for this. And I think it's worth practicing finishing with a level 1 super occasionally. Let's have a look at that. Where was my super? That was perfect inputs, bro. Right. Level 1 super gets you 4,433 damage. If we just finish with the Dragon Punch, we get 4,000. Let's have a look at that. There you go, 4,071 damage. Not to be sniffed at, 4,071 damage. So we can get 4,000 when we've got no super meter. We can get 4,400 when we've got 1 bar. We can't do level 2 cancel because we can't fit an OD move into this. Although you could probably fit it in after the second drive rush before the third one. But I think that's adding maybe a bit too many layers of complexity. And then with level 3, we get the huge cash out for 671. Let's have a look at that level 2 actually. Oosh, 4,787. Right, so we get plus 300 damage if we go into an OD instead of the third drive rush and then cash out a level 2 super. So that can be quite powerful. So this is really a good meter dump combo. One thing I want to talk about is the situations where we can do it. But before that, I want to say that as much as this combo usually comes up in the circumstances of a full meter dump and maxing out damage, I think one of the best uses of this combo is actually to just do 2 drive rush cancels, which gets you a lot of corner carry, definitely puts your opponent into the corner, and then just don't finish with the third drive rush cancel and rebuild your bar. And that's especially the case if you're finishing with level 3 super. So the situations where this combo comes up the most, I find, is at the start of the third round against characters like Guile, where you just jump on them at the start of the round. Every now and then, you got to jump on the Guiles at the start of the round. Right, every now and then. And often I do it in the third round because I tend to start my matches pretty chill, and my opponents kind of get used to me as a bit of a chiller. But then in the third round, I just go ham and come at them. So in those kind of situations, don't cash out all the way. Let me show you. Alright, so we've done 3,837 and we didn't burn out. Now in that situation, I did Dragon Punch to finish, which I shouldn't have. Right, so even with him teching my throw there, I've built back a bar. I've got him fully into the corner. I hit him for about 3,800 damage, and I'm not in burnout. That is a pretty ideal situation, and I didn't use super. I did light Tatsu. The other thing you can do is medium Tatsu and then follow up with the Fireball Oki, which works really well against characters like Guile who are often using level 1 supers as their wake up option. Let's have a look at that. Nice. All right, we're +3 in his face. We've built back nearly a bar of drive gauge. We've got him all the way in the corner. He's in a world of trouble. Let's have a look at how juicy this is if you finish with the level 3 super. Here we go. Watch our drive gauge build back. Hit him for 6,000 damage. We got 2 drive gauge back. Guile is in a world of trouble, right? We are ready to drive impact him. He's lost 60% of his health bar. He's taken a bunch of drive gauge damage himself because we hit him with a super. He's in a bad situation. So I actually think a lot of the time when you're using this combo, it should be to dump your drive gauge and get corner carry, but not completely burn yourself out. Let's talk a little bit about execution for this combo. There are really 2 things that can go wrong. So either you will not micro walk forward and then you will burn out. Right, that situation there. So I got the medium punch, but I hadn't walked forward enough before the medium punch, and so I didn't build the drive gauge. It's not about waiting 7 frames. That's not what does it. What does it is taking a step forward. Taking a step forward builds you the drive gauge. So you have to make sure that you are actually walking forward. The other thing that will happen, of course, is that your timing will be bad. You just do it late, in which case Guile will block. Right, that situation there. I mean, that's not the worst scenario in a game, but it's really not ideal. And so basically you just want to practice those 2 things. One last little execution tip I have is that I find that after the medium punch, I want to use the parry cancel. For me on a hitbox, that actually feels quite awkward, or it felt awkward initially because I have to crouch and press medium punch, and then I also use my medium punch button to parry. But I found the rhythm of this to be quite good after a while. Like, it was like bump bump, got to press bump bump, yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, but your mileage may vary. Some of you may find it easier to do it with the forward. If you're on a pad, then I'd probably be using the parry button, but your parry button's going to be different from your medium punch button. So in any case, it's not a particularly hard combo. I think I got it on my 3rd try or something. But to get it to the point where you're absolutely confident in it in a match and you can do it 10 times in a row on left or right side without any stuff ups is probably going to take you an hour or something. And then you're going to want to integrate it into your matches through a training session where you're doing it in the breaks between matches, and then in matches you're really looking for an opportunity to do it and you're not too worried about what happens to your rank. Maybe do it in casual match. Let's talk about when this combo comes up. So I've mentioned already the main one, which is jump-ins. And I think jump-ins against fireball characters especially is where this one comes up. You don't have to start it off a heavy punch, right? You can start it off crouch medium punch if you get a cross up. Anything that allows you to drive rush into a heavy kick, you'll be able to do it. So I don't think that, it doesn't work off crouching medium kick, but that's pretty much the only one. So if you get a cross up, you'll be able to do it. If you get a solar plexus, you'll be able to do it. How did I stuff that up, man? Right. So what are the situations when it comes up? When you jump in, you'll be able to do it. The main thing is that you need some window of time to realize that you've got full 6 drive gauge and that this combo is available to you. We talked about that earlier when we were talking about meter dumping and being aware of the situation. With this combo, I find that there are certain cues that kind of let you know that you've got 6 bars. Like the start of the round is one situation where you've got 6 bars, and the other one is when you've just come out of burnout. then you've got 6 bars. But if you've just come out of burnout and you drive impact someone because they're trying to get the stun combo on you, but they're a bit late, then you spend a bar to do that drive impact. So that's not a situation in which you can do it. But sometimes you've just come out of burnout and you get a solar plexus. All right? In that situation, the solar plexus, as we've discussed, gives you a few seconds to think about how much bar you've got, both in the drive gauge and in your super bar, especially because you're always following it up with that on kind of autopilot. So that's a situation when you can realize that you've got enough bar and resources to go into this combo. The other ones are things we've already talked about, where you get a knockdown and an OD uppercut that you block. So we can practice that with Guile. Somersault kick. Right, I did that wrong. Right, I stuffed it up, but in any case, you get the picture. So that's equivalent to a jump in. And I think it's worth practicing this combo out of those kind of situations. So sometimes you want to start it off with a solar plexus. Sometimes you want to start it off with a punish counter heavy kick. Sometimes you want to start it off with a jump in, right? But in any case, just practice that combo under different circumstances. Practice finishing it with the full 3 drive gauge cancel. Practice finishing it with just 2, so you get your drive gauge back, and you're doing tatsus at the end and getting corner carry. Practice finishing it with an OD and then going into level 2, all this kind of stuff. All right, I hope that is a useful addition to your arsenal. I would suggest in the first instance using it at round start, when you do occasionally get jump ins at round start, especially in the 3rd round when people are not used to you jumping in at round start, and then you can just get full corner carry and build your drive gauge back, and it basically sets you up to win. Very hard to come back on someone after they start like that. See you in the next video.